Everybody, and welcome back to another panel for TingleCon 2021. I'm here joined by several talented ASMR artists. We have Vivi Alto, Moongem ASMR, María ASMR, and Lily Whispers. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. So we're going to be talking about the sexualization of ASMR. I think it's a very controversial, hot topic right now in the community. I think there's people with a lot of differing views on it. And I think we're just going to essentially converse and see, kind of just delve into the different opinions here. So I'm sure these folks here have various opinions on it. So let's, without further ado, let us go ahead and jump into this. I think we're going to, because I've been doing this with all the other panels, but it is TingleCon. So we want to have just a bit of a love fest here, maybe talk about some ASMR artists that we love, because that is the most important thing here, is the sense of community. So to begin with, who are some ASMR artists that you love or you feel are underrated? Some ASMR artists you just really enjoy. Why don't we start there?
Who wants to start? Can I go first? One of the ones I really like, and I feel like sometimes doesn't get the recognition she deserves, and she's also not very active sometimes, is Amal CD. I don't know if you've seen her.
Oh yes, I love Amal. She's literally been on YouTube for I think longer than I have. I love her.
Yes, and I love her role plays. I feel like the accents that she does and the sense of humor that she has is really good. So I would really like to recommend her.
Kind of jumping off of that as well. One of my favorite ASMR artists, and she's been around forever, and she's not quite active anymore, or she'll upload every so often, is Pigsbum 53 Nicole. Oh my goodness, she probably gave me one of my first ASMR like on YouTube tingles, and her content is both in Korean and then also in English, so definitely sending love to Nicole.
I think
sorry.
You can do You can go there, don't worry.
Okay. One of my favorite ASMR artists, and she's just a hustler. She puts in so much work and she's so detailed and dedicated to what she does. I love KO ASMR. I've loved her channel so much. She's like a sister to me. And I just love the amount of different role plays she pulls out. Like, she's filming and creating so much, so I admire how much she puts into what she does, and it's amazing.
And for me, well, the ASMR artist that I really enjoy, and I think that she deserves way some better like audience. Well, not better audience, but like more audience. It's called Dominican ASMR. I think her videos, she's usually like in Spanish or English. And I think that her videos are so calming and so relaxing, and they're like so professional, even more professional than mine. Yeah, even more professional than mine. I even have sometimes to be like, hey, can you please edit my videos because I love your editing. So yeah, I think Dominican, I love her. I love totally what she does.
Great. So that was really interesting. I think I actually had not heard of any of them, so I wrote them down and I'm going to check them out after this panel. So let's actually jump into, because again, I want to jump into the topic of this panel, but I think, there are a lot of people who probably haven't seen your channels or know anything about you. So why don't we just go into these really basic questions here about ASMR, and what is your first ASMR experience, and what made you want to be an ASMR artist to begin with?
Okay. My first ASMR experience, I have it very clear. Some people don't believe me, but it was in kindergarten. I remember it clearly because one of my closest friends was talking to me, and she started whispering in my ear and like touching my hair. And I just felt the tingles. I was like, what is this? Like, that feeling just got engraved into my mind. It was like, what is this? And throughout the years, when my mom was brushing my hair or whatever, I would get it, but I didn't know what it was. And I remember I saw a video, I think it was from Vice or something like that, talking about ASMR. And I was like, oh, what is that? I've never heard of it. And one day my head was hurting and I was like, oh, I'm going to try one of those ASMR videos. Let's see what it is. And I put on a jelly bean ASMR video. I think it was like this mouth sounds video. and I instantly fell asleep within 5 minutes. So yeah. And then I realized there weren't many ASMR content in Spanish at that time. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Then I started to see people from Spain creating it, and I was like, okay, cool. And then some people from South America, but I wasn't seeing anyone from Mexico. And I was like, I might have to try to do it. Maybe I can help people. I studied communication, and my radio professor said, you have a good voice. So I was like, maybe my voice works for this. And I gave it a try, and yeah, for my friends and family. And then one of my videos went viral, and yeah, here I am.
I had my first ASMR experience when I was like also like in first, second grade. My best friend at the time, we had these like miniature crayons we got it from like a craft store or something. And so she was drawing on paper with these miniature crayons. And I just was like, this is such a cool sound. And then she had like a miniature paintbrush that she was just going over what she drew with crayons. And I felt tingles, and I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? I'm like, I could just fall asleep and like just continue doing this forever. And then I didn't really know what that sensation was called. Like, of course, like I had encountered it like in life as I grew up and things, but I didn't have a term for it. And then it was an Appreciate ASMR recommended video. I was like in college, a freshman, back in 2013, and Appreciate ASMR had a video of, she was like a Lana Del Rey makeup role play type of video. And I was like, what is ASMR? And like back then there was like one little paragraph on Wikipedia about ASMR, but there wasn't like a lot. And Urban Dictionary kind of had like a vague description of what, autonomous sensory meridian response was. And I fell in love with, the movement and the sounds. And I had a YouTube channel in high school where I was doing like beauty and makeup. So I was like, oh, I can try this. Like, I'll do this. So I made my first video like 2 months later.
Wow. Literally similar to Vivi and Lily. When I was younger, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but my best friend and I at the time, we had this thing called the Meditation Rock Spa. And so my mom would travel to like, when she was on her trips or whatever, she would always bring me back little like these like little glossy rocks, like they're really colorful and pretty and stuff. And so my best friend would come over, and she was also a very eclectic, open soul like me. And so we literally would take turns like acting like we were giving each other a spa, putting rocks on each other's heads and like clinking them in our ears. And I remember my mom coming in like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what the heck? And we were just like so into it. And she was the one later on when I was in high school who told me what ASMR was. And I was like, oh my God, all that time we were doing that, that's what that was. And so it was still kind of like, I feel maybe still like taboo at that time. So I was like, I don't know about this, blah, blah, blah. And so it wasn't until my last year in college, similar to Lily, that I was really just having so much anxiety with everything. And this was last 2 years ago, right before COVID kind of thing. And I started diving into ASMR and obviously watching GB ASMR. And I was just so enamored about this like full personal attention and focus that I was getting from someone. And it was amazing. And so I started diving into ALB, ASMR Planet, and I was like, I have this idea, and I created this whole world that now my viewers and I like have this special relationship with me being a moon goddess and, all this stuff with moon dust. And it's been such a magical experience and honor to be able to share that and be able to experience ASMR through this like space element, as you can obviously see. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, well, mine was, I don't know, it was not that long ago. I remember that it just popped in my YouTube recommendations. It just was an ASMR Darling video. I think she's iconic. Everyone knows her. And at the beginning, I was just like, what is this? I don't understand. Like, how can people watch people eat, or how can people watch this? Like, what is a role play? And I felt it like, okay, only weird people does this. But then I just watch myself watching those videos over and over and over, and I was like, why am I coming in so many times to watch the same videos and having these sensations? So I was like, okay, I think that I'm one of those people that really enjoy that. And I was an spectator for a long time until one day I just was like, okay, I really want to join the ASMR community. So yeah, that's what got me into ASMR. Yeah, ASMR darling.
Awesome. Those are really interesting stories, and I think it's a contrast to kind of what we're talking about today, because again, that's really, I think a lot of people have certain views about ASMR that I think, are challenged by those experiences. But let's go ahead and just jump into this, because I know, Maria, you don't have as much a lot of time.
Yes,
so let's just dive into this here. And again, this panel is called the sexualization of ASMR. So I think that's kind of what we're going to be talking about now. What is it to sexualize content? Does it differ between men, women, transgender, non-binary people? Why don't we start there?
So I think, I don't know, just to kind of get us talking, I think that everything in life can be sexualized. I think that society, regardless of intention, I personally on YouTube don't want to sexually arouse my audience. It's not my intention to create sexually interpreted content. But I'm not going to be an idiot and say that I know that there's people who are watching my videos and getting off to it. Like, I'm just going to be honest with that. But I think about it with all things, like people sexualize literally everything. And so I think it more so, has to do with intent, which I think it's totally fine to make, erotic content. I'm pretty strong. I feel strongly that it shouldn't be on YouTube, given the amount of minors that watch ASMR on YouTube. I think that there are other platforms. That's just how I feel. OnlyFans, Patreon, whatever people want to do to make kind of the sexual ASMR content. But regardless, I think there's so many different niches on the internet that don't intend to be seen as sexual and are sexualized by some individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like the main intent of ASMR is to help people relax and deal with insomnia, anxiety, and sort of like, some people might take it like, yeah, you're helping you relax in this other way. When, as you say, you clearly don't want it to be seen as that. But by the way people perceive it and have been educated, they just get it like, oh, a cute girl whispering to a microphone, sexy, turns me on. So, it really has to do with how others see it. But as you say, for example, me, I really like to wear like small shirts, like showing my cleavage, which at the beginning, I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with this. But then I started seeing how others were taking it. I said, oh, this is an easy girl and I'm going to get this kind of content out of her, which if others do it, that's totally fine. However, I don't feel like that's what I want you to perceive. And if you do it and if you take it like that, please don't tell me that you're doing that kind of stuff with my videos, because sometimes that makes you want to stop. Like, it has happened when I question myself, like, do I really want to keep doing this? I like it so much, but there are others who think of it in another way. And it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And it has also brought personal problems. Like my family, they're like, do you really want to keep doing this? Do you really want people to see you like that? And I'm like, see me how? I'm just whispering and trying to help people relax. So yeah, I think it's more of a society issue here. And I also think that this kind of content should be labeled as such. As I was talking to you guys of the panel, I saw like many videos labeled as ASMR erotica. And I guess that's a good name for it. So people know what they're looking for, like what they are like consuming. And again, if YouTube allows this content to be on the platform, at least make it for 18 years or older. Like, just don't let everyone see it. That's what I think.
Wait, so Vivi, I did have a question for you. So did you continue? Because I remember like I would wear like a cami or something and my cleavage would be showing like maybe just like a little bit. And the amount of comments that I would get, like everyone would talk about it. And it's like, come on, like it's 2020, 2021, like I can wear whatever I want. Like I don't, like that doesn't allow me. I don't want to be catcalled. I don't want people to sexualize just because of what I'm wearing. But people on the internet, I think, like hide behind a screen and they can be so relentless and so cruel. So did you, just out of curiosity for myself, like I stopped wearing stuff like that. I didn't know if you did, or like what you, like if you made any changes, because like I also have gotten really nasty comments about like what I wear in a video.
Yeah, it is very discouraging. I actually filtered a lot of words on my YouTube comments so I don't see them. There was a time where I stopped, like I was just showing my face, like you don't get to see my body, just my face. But eventually I did do it again, and I just wouldn't pay attention to them. And when I get a live and some people are like, oh, why don't you show more of you? And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I can take it off. I'm a girl. I have boobs. I can do nothing about it. It's up to you how you want to see it. But, it's not like that. Like, please stop. And some people take it, as you say, they feel invincible behind the screen. And because you're the one showing yourself, your face, they know who you are, but you rarely know who's behind the other screen. And I'm like, I'm here and I have to deal with you. So all that I'm asking is respect me. If you feel that way about me, keep it to yourself, please. But yeah, I tend to ignore a lot of comments or just filter them, which is sad because it's a way of me to talk back with my audience. But because of those comments, I've had to stop. So yeah, but I try to keep myself as authentic as I can, but trying to tone it down also, yeah.
I think that it's a way of kind of, I don't know, the sexualization of ASMR. Sometimes I remember that I used to even say no, you will never see any cleavage from my part, in my videos, or you will never see me do anything like that. And then I was like, why? I mean, if I use cleavage in my day to day, why I want to be no, I'm a type of saint or something like that. I just want to be myself on camera. And I think that people just, or even minimizes your effort because of the way you're looking, or just isn't really happy about anything in general. Sometimes I feel when I'm recording, sometimes I used to feel more flirty than other times, or sometimes I feel kind of tired, or I feel only happy, or things like that. And when I feel flirty, I do flirty videos. So people are like, oh, she's sexualizing herself, or things like that. And I'm like, no, I'm just being kind of myself. And sorry if I'm a sexual being. I'm a woman. I also have sexual intention sometimes, not with you, obviously, but I can't help to sometimes be flirty on camera, or sometimes if I want to show more cleavage, I will just do that. It's not fair for me to be hiding, or for any of us to be hiding what we want to do, just because one or two or tons of people saying that, oh no, she used to do so good ASMR and now she's only showing cleavage, and it's my quality is still the same. This video will have been the same with me wearing a tank top or with me wearing a sweater. It's just the same content, just different clothes. And does that just minimizes myself to just my clothes? Because I'm more than I think that we are all more than just that. We're not the clothes that we're wearing while recording. We're ourselves. The effort that we put into our videos, the love that we put into our audiences, and things like that. So I think it's a shame that it's sexualized. But also everything, like Lily said, everything gets sexualized these days. So yeah, I don't know, that's my opinion on that.
It's just, and just to add really quick, and it's so cool. I mean, we're all women here on the panel talking about this besides Nathan, obviously, but I see such a difference of comment sections amongst male ASMR creators and female that it's like, I don't know, does anybody else get sad about it? Like, I get sad sometimes. I'm like, I'm a person. Like, I'm not just, like, I have a life. Like, I don't know. I feel like on YouTube, people want to put me in this bucket. Like, I have to be like a Mother Teresa, like you were saying, Maria.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have to be Mother Teresa. I have to be this like very conservative prude or whatever, or like everyone's just gonna, you know, sexualize me and things. And like, I feel really muted. Like, I just feel like people are trying to just, like you said, like, I don't feel like myself sometimes when I make ASMR videos, because I'm like, great, now I gotta fetch out a turtleneck. Like, I don't even own turtlenecks, and like I had to buy some for ASMR, you know, just
it's hot.
weird.
Okay, it's
so
really
hot.
hot
It's
when you're
hot.
filming and you have a lot of lights on you. And you're gonna wear a turtleneck.
I just, yeah. And like, how do you expect me to be in a 30-minute video that probably is gonna take me 1 hour to record with a turtleneck when it's hot, and I can't have the AC on, and I can't have like any fan because of, if I have it, then you're gonna comment, oh no, that noise, it's not suiting. So I remember that I used to watch an ASMR channel that is from a boy. I don't remember the name, and he usually was shirtless. Yes. And he's like really pumped, like he has a really nice body, and his comment sections were always like, "That's such a nice ASMR. That's never like put a shirt on.
We could never.
Why are you sexualizing
Oh
yourself?"
my gosh, absolutely
or things like
not.
that. And I was like, if I was just going in my bra, it would be like crazy. Girls
You'd break the internet.
Yeah, like it would be one of the, I don't know. So sometimes like it's unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, and to start, YouTube would take it down. Like, you wouldn't be able to keep your video. That's it.
But not if a man's shirtless. Even if I'm in a bikini, which isn't like a bra or anything, like if there's demonetization. It's like, you know, sorry, I want to show you guys my cute like bikini collection or like something that I'm wearing. Like, I used to do like hauls and like outfits and stuff, and I stemmed away from it because all the comments were, actually one of my videos got re-uploaded to Pornhub, and I was like, isn't this disappointing? Like, I'm literally in jeans and like a sweater. Like, why is this like on Pornhub?
To me, it kind of comes down. Oh, sorry, Nathan.
No. I was gonna ask Moongem. Did you want to add something there? I know that you didn't get a chance, and I actually wanted to add something here, but you guys are just jumping into some stuff here that I wanted to ask, which is great. So why don't you go ahead, and then I'll ask my question after that. From what I
right, I think Vivi kind of touched upon that, saying like her family like asked her like, is this what you want to be doing? Because knowing that there is a large surge of ASMR erotica, and people are now people are perceiving regular ASMR, so it's hard to differentiate. Yeah, you know, it's like, oh well, that ASMR is fine, but I don't do that. This is what I do. And right. Like, and people who they don't know ASMR, they don't see the difference. They don't know.
And I'm sorry.
No, Maria, you go ahead, because you gotta go, babe.
Or people that just like Moongem said, like, put you in this box that is like, oh no, I don't want to do any content with her because she only sexualizes herself. And if you see like your page is like, okay, I'm not sexualizing anything, I'm just doing some things and sorry if my cleavage is showing. I remember that for me as a creator, the sexualization just went like so far away that I don't want to jump into fetish because I think that we're going to talk about that like later. I think that it just makes you wonder in reality about your own sexuality and your own self, your own empowerment. I even will say, like, how much am I able to show without me being picked on? Like, it was like 2-3 months ago that I tried to be a kindergarten teacher, and when the girl asked me, like, I have this really good CV, I have everything like in order, she was like, oh yeah, you're perfect for what we're looking for. I'm like, okay, I can show the kids a lot of things. It's kindergarten, so it's easy, you know. And then when she asked me like, what do you do for a living, I was like, oh, YouTube. And for me, that's like really normal. Like, I'm not afraid of showing my YouTube channel or something like that. I didn't get the job because of my ASMR channel. So it's like, why are you minimizing myself just because of what you see online? Like, I am more than that. I'm a professional. I'm a psychologist. I have a major in psychology, in clinical psychology. I can work with kids. So
And
yeah.
you know what, Maria? I think a big part of that too is because, like we've all talked about, the sexualization. People think ASMR a lot of times when I tell people what I do, and they automatically think porn because there's such a big ASMR porn, whatever. So it's so hard because, and like you're saying, Nathan, like how does it affect us? Well, for me personally, it's like, yeah, I'm trying to explain what I do and be taken seriously, you know, like Maria. And it's like automatically this like distance from like, oh, you do that kind of stuff. And it's like, then you explain, and I'm straight up, I'm like, I don't think ASMR is inherently sexual. I do think that people can get aroused by certain triggers. Like I'll be honest, there's certain sounds that I'm not going to listen to because it's not going to relax me. Maybe it does kind of give me a little arousal. Maybe it does like make me feel weird about my sexuality. But at the same time, I like that I'm being aware of that because it makes me think deeper about my own sexuality and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But like for the most part, you know, having the ASMR to relax and help people, you know, whatever kind of trauma or anxiety they're going through. And I think there is a part of that does include sexual trauma, but I think it's very, very hard to accurately portray that with the kind of mindset that our crazy society has when it comes to sexuality.
Yeah, and I also, as Maria was saying, like when the whole ASMR community is an internet stuff, and when it goes beyond your personal life, and it comes with the question about the audience, because when I started mimicking other ASMR artists that I used to see. And for example, I once did which I don't regret because I do like it, but I did a ear licking video that as well ended up in porn sites. And I'm like, you can watch that on my channel. What's wrong about it? And I see this girl uploads it and nothing happens. Why does it have to happen with me? And then if you look out for my channel name and then at porn, you will get a lot of hits from different porn pages. And I'm like, there's nothing in there, but my name is already in there. And it's like, why? You know, like why? And then that's when my family has come. It's like when you go and ask for a job, and if they search for your name, they're going to find this. Like, what are you going to do? Do you want to keep doing this? And I'm like, oh, you know, that's sort of, I'm like, I'm like, I can defend the content that I create. Like, I can tell you, like, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know how to change how others see it. And as I said, I feel like if you do it, okay, do you, whatever. It's not what I intend you to do, but don't tell me and don't go and spread it as if it is such. Like, there are tons of content like that. Why do you have to pick on normal ASMR? Like, something I don't get. And how far some followers go to kind of get that kind of content from you. Like this fake bots that they've created to put your face in a naked body and then upload it, say it like
deep fakes. Yeah.
Like, or saying like, oh, I met her in university and I have a video of her. It's like, why do people go to that extent? And then
the Reddit I don't know how to say it. The Reddit parts, like where I have the María ASMR Reddit, and instead of it being like cool, I don't know, like, hey, she uploaded or something, it's like pictures of, I have an OnlyFans, so it's a pictures of my OnlyFans. It's even a video of a girl that it's not me. Like you can see part like this part, and she was naked, and people were like, I think she's María. I think she's María, and I'm like,
I have a subreddit that's the same thing. Yeah. And people made like a private Discord where they like leak, because I also have an OnlyFans, but like, again, like, I mean, what's nice is because it is behind a paywall, if you ever decide to press charges, you can do that. It's illegal for people to re-upload and share things. Also, if your content is being, shown on porn websites, I go through my MCN. who just copyrights it. They just like reach out and they're like, you need to take this down. Like they don't own the rights to the content. So they can get into a lot of trouble as a distributor of content that they don't own.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it's like so exhausting to have to go and take down everything. It's like, why do I even have to check, you know?
Well, so it was weird. Like, I don't know, this like TMI, like I know that we were talking about the sexualization, but there was this person that uploaded on a porn website of them doing like a masturbation tribute of my Instagram, and they were just swiping through, but I was 17 in some of the photos and I was 16 in some of the photos. So that got taken, like as soon as I reached out to like, I think it was like X Hamster or something, I reached out to them, it got wiped off the face of the internet. Like you can't find that video anywhere because it's child porn.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I also had a FAP tribute, but on YouTube. And I was like, YouTube. And it lasted a year. I tried to take it down, and here comes the YouTube creator help thing. They didn't help me at all. I was like, how can I take this video down? Like they are masturbating to my pictures, and it is on YouTube. Like, how is this on YouTube? And they were like, oh, just flag it as harassment. And I'm like, you never check those flags. What can I do? Okay, try a privacy complaint. I did, and they rejected it. And then I didn't want to play it because of the sound. And then I just muted and I went through it all. And I saw that they were taking my video. And I was like, can I flag it as copyright at least? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, but he's zooming in. Like, are you going to like do it or not? Because sometimes you also reject that. And they were like, no, we'll have to double check. And finally, after a year, they did. But this person was spreading it again on Reddit and other pages. And I was like, why do I have to do this? Like, why are
just
they
like incels with like nothing better to do than just like, they pretend like they're fans, like, oh, I'm like, you know, a tribute to you, but like they're actually like sad little people that have nothing. Like, but I think the issue with like YouTube does not protect their content creators. They don't. It's really frustrating.
Actually, while we're on this subject, because this actually leads into my, thank you so much. You guys are just having a great conversation. All of my questions are being asked. I don't even have to join in. But no, this is actually a great question, because let's talk about the platforms. I mean, is there a difference in your experiences on Twitch or YouTube? I know you said you are also on OnlyFans, but do you think one of the platforms lends itself more to sexualized content? Or again, you were talking about some of the struggles you went through as well, but perhaps you could talk about your experience between the two.
I think I've only been on YouTube and OnlyFans. I tried Twitch, but honestly, I didn't fall in love with that because I don't love doing live ASMR. Well, YouTube, it's only a love-hate relationship. Totally. When you're trying to reach out because, I don't know, your video just got tagged as sexualization or something, and it's just a mouth sounds video or something like that, it's just like, okay, I don't understand. I remember that I used to sometimes do like water or motivational ASMR, and it will also get flagged as sexualization. And I'm like, okay, I'm wearing this, I'm just showing this part of my face. How is that sexualizing me? Like, how am I doing something to make it sexy towards you or towards the audience? So YouTube, it's actually like just only like 10% help, I think. And OnlyFans, actually, it's really caring, I think, about their creators. People on OnlyFans have always been so respectful. They've never been like, I've never seen a dick pic on OnlyFans. I've never seen someone like harassing me. None of that. People is always like so also respectful. Yeah, like when they ask me like, hey, can you please send me, I don't know, a picture of you in lingerie or something like that. If it's too much to ask, don't do it, but just tell me like how much it will be if you're decided to do so. And I'm like, wow, people in here are not like pigs. And yeah, so I think that I'd rather be on Only than on YouTube, but I also really like YouTube.
But I'm not on OnlyFans, but I think since it is a platform that you pay for, people are more aware of what they are saying and how to approach you. Because on YouTube, people expect everything for free, which it is free, essentially. It is free.
They feel entitled.
Yeah. Yes. And they're like, because of us, you're where you are. And I'm like, yeah, you play a big
Mhm.
role, but also my effort and my time to be here and trying to help you and creating content. For me, YouTube is also a love-hate relationship. I like YouTube. I started there. I have a very strong following there, and I love it. But when it comes to protecting a creator, it is kind of very difficult to make them understand what you're going through. And they also gave you like automatic responses or like anything you can find online on their YouTube help page. They just copy paste it. And it's like, I'm trying to talk to a human being here. Like, tell me what can I do? Like, how can you help me? And they take like days to figure out how to help you, if they even help you. And when it comes to other platforms, I've never tried Twitch. I want to, but I don't understand it. But for example, I had to also close my DMs on Instagram because, again, people feel anonymous behind a screen and they feel like they can tell you anything on private. And people were harassing me like nonstop. Some of them, not all of them, but for one, it's just like it starts to feel wrong. Like, why do I have to put up with this? And Instagram actually is way harder than YouTube to try to flag someone's account or like report it. It's extremely hard. So that's Instagram. But I feel comfortable uploading also ASMR on Instagram. I've done like Reels and IGTV, like it's okay. But it's very hard to get help from Instagram and Facebook because it's also very computer-like. And Twitter, I've actually, when it comes to desexualization stuff, I've never had a problem. But when it comes to harassment, yes. And it's easier to shut people down on Twitter than it is on other platforms. But it is annoying, you know? But I feel like that's the way where I can communicate with my audience better. And also one other thing I've done is implement a Discord chat. Sadly, or not sadly, I've only used it with the members of my channel. So I know it's people who genuinely want to talk to me about my ASMR. And so I talk with them there and I post for them there. And it's super cool and I love it. So yeah, I guess you have to sort of learn how to work with your audience and how to make it less toxic for your own sake, because also mentally it is very exhausting to deal with people online and nobody teaches you how to do it. So you sort of have to figure it out on your own, I guess.
I definitely feel since I'm still kind of a newbie, I've really only had much experience with YouTube and social media. I will say that on Instagram, I find it's where I get most of the craziness when it comes to sexualization, because it's like we use our tags, right, to like, okay, this is this kind of video you're going to expect. Because I also post clips on my Instagram and stuff. And so I find that I get a lot of messages asking for requests, which I always love. But there's also people who who think I'm a dominatrix. And so they're dressing me the same kind of goddess thing, but people think I'm a dominatrix. And they make these requests that are like, oh my gosh. And I explain to them, this is really what's going on. And it's still like, even so, they're still pushing on, they're still continuing, no matter if I block them. Now it's new accounts and like Instagram is not monitoring that, even though I've, sent these complaints and like, hey, like this is happening. And I kind of need this to be addressed, because I also just recently did this whole thing where I like revealed my twin self. And now I have like a lot of my stuff vulnerable because I'm also a performer. So it's like now I'm like doubly vulnerable because of the exposure, of course, on YouTube, and because of now showing myself in, what I do. So it's kind of, it's a little, gives me some panic when I'm trying to reach out to Instagram or Twitter. And it's really hard to kind of get some of these things taken care of when it's been like months of this happening.
Yeah, I had started on YouTube and I was, I'm 100% adamant that YouTube is not the place for sexual content. I don't think that it's the place for that. I decided to join OnlyFans because I always like posting. Like, I'm very proud of my body. Like, I I'm comfortable with my sexuality, YouTube's not the place for it. And Instagram didn't feel like the place for it either. So I kind of just like wanted a place where I could be sexy, because that's part of my personality. And I really enjoy that part of me, because it's, again, like we're multifaceted. It is a part of me. And I hated feeling like I had to kind of minimize myself and, again, like be like Mother Teresa on YouTube. And everyone was like giving me shit for joining OnlyFans. And it's like, well, you guys put me in this box. You want me to like do X, Y, Z. And then you're not happy when I do that. And then I join OnlyFans. You are happy that I do that. So it's like, I just kind of accepted that like I can't make everybody happy. And I used to really struggle with that, because I think I wanted to, you want to make your subscribers happy. You want to connect with your audience. You want to fulfill certain requests, which I know that we'll touch on later about the fetish mining. But there's also something to be said about like a time and a place for everything. And I have dabbled in Twitch before. I think Twitch actually like is one of the platforms that I felt super safe on. They are really good. It's wonderful that you can like mute people if they're inappropriate. Like there's just so many things that I feel just very protected on. I don't stream as much as I did because life just gets busy. But I definitely, out of all the platforms, I think YouTube is the one that I feel the most unsafe on. And then of course on Reddit as well, like when things like get shared on Reddit, like I can't really control that. It was, really bothering me though, that I didn't have control over the way that my content was being shared. It was like something on my Instagram story, right? Like just something like me out to dinner with a friend, and God forbid my boobs were out, just like a little bit, like I was wearing a freaking dress, and it got reshared on like Reddit, and everyone was like, being creepy about it. And so I actually met with an attorney, like a couple months ago, and we were like talking about like certain things that you can do to protect yourself and the content that you're releasing. So it's nice to have somebody in your corner that's an advocate for you. It is obviously costly with legal fees. But sometimes I definitely have needed the peace of mind sometimes to be like, hey, like, can you get this gone? Like, can this disappear, etc. So
That's good. That's a good thing, because I live in Mexico and I feel like it's very different. Like I see like the audiences from all over the world in different videos. And I had a very bad issue like 3 years ago. And I had to go to the police and all that stuff. And the first thing was like, who told you should upload videos on the internet? You wanted to be famous, no? So then you have to deal with this. And I was like, but that doesn't mean they can get into my private life and, my private information and expose it online. And it was me trying to push it and prove them. And I did my research, and I was like, that's the name of the felony they're doing. Please do your job and help me. And I had to push them. I had to travel to different cities to try to get my case heard. And in the end, it just froze. But I had the peace of mind that I was trying to do the right thing. Because here in Mexico, there's not much legislation for online content, which a lot of people are putting their eyes on it for the sexualization, for the involuntary pornography and the revenge porn and all that, but also for how influencers act online and affect others. Like there was a problem going on with the politics and stuff. So people are trying to like putting more attention to it, but it is very hard when it goes like beyond the screen, Well, it has been hard for me, actually.
And to piggyback off of that, I keep using that because that's what I say in like meetings. We're like on Zoom. I had something similar happen also 3 years ago. This person thought that I was making my YouTube videos for him, and he would respond to he would like send me emails like, all right, let's do this. Like, you told me that you cared about me and like all this stuff. And I'm like, excuse me, sir. Like, and he was kind of close. I was able to, again, like he would share me with him, like, or he would share with me his phone number and his address. He's like, I'm here waiting for you. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm not going to drive like to Michigan to see you. Like, what's wrong with you? And I ended up having to send him like a cease and desist, because it was just like getting like, I was like, I had to reach out to the deputy of police in his area. I was like, please check in on this man. He sent me thousands of messages on Twitter, email, trying to like thinking that we were in a relationship because of my content on YouTube. And I brought it to the police, and they laughed at me until I brought my father, and then they took it seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
very
really,
hard.
that's an
Misconstrue
very,
that so
oh, sorry.
much.
Sorry, Moongem, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna just say one last thing about what Lily said, is that it's like, because like the nature of our what we do, and because it is so personal, that
Right.
people, it's hard to gauge what kind of people are watching your content, because there's people who really think that this is your relationship with this person, and then if they take something too far, it's like, we deserve to have that being taken seriously.
It's so, I mean, and also like you were saying, Moongem, like we are creating a safe space. And I think that there's something, it's not inherently sexual, but it is in a way intimate, and it can be sensual as well, because it is so personal. You know, you're creating a safe space between you and your viewer. And yeah, you don't know who the person is on the other stream. You don't know, or the other side of the screen is. You don't know what kind of mind. You have to think about what kind of mind the person who thinks that your content is just made for them has. Like, you have to be like, whoa, there's like really some people out there that may not be able to differentiate between, like, maybe they don't really are aware of like what YouTube it, you know, you just have to like,
yeah.
But again, like I feel fortunate that like that's like maybe like, you know, one in my 300,000, you know, subscribers that like have done that. Thank goodness. But it is a risk that we take of being online, and it sucks because you talk to female ASMR artists, male ASMR artists, they've all had somebody to harass them. And it's like, why is this the norm? Like, why are we subjecting ourselves to this? Like, I mean, because obviously, like, I love my subscriber base and everyone is so kind and loving, but there's those trolls that take a lot of the joy out of it. And when you do think of like safety.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. When it comes down, like, oh, someone's going to like harass you. Like, I get a lot of like racial slurs and all kinds of stuff, but like that I'm like, whatever, I'm used to that. I'm United States, whatever. But like, when it comes down to something that's going to jeopardize my safety or the people around me, that's when it's like, even if it's that one person, you have to take it seriously, you know?
Because sometimes if you let one slip, then maybe someone else is going to be like, I can do this. And it's not okay. Like, we get it, as you say, it is a safe space. Like, it's very intimate, but you have, I don't know, they have to learn the difference. Like, yes, this is here for you, but I'm a person and I have a life outside of it. And that's it. Like, please respect it.
I always think of like the Michael, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, actually, because you know what, we started a little bit late. I wanted to go to like the 15, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I want to respect everyone's time. We could probably, it looks like, honestly, with the amount of audience questions, we could talk another 30 minutes here, but I want to be respectful of time. So let's jump in, because this is kind of a nice segue into the next conversation. And Lily Whispers, you mentioned you had a set of videos that I think were really interesting, and we're talking on some of these issues. And one of the things we talked about earlier before we recorded was fetish mining. And, you know, I personally have a lot of friends who are starting out channels and things like that, so they probably don't even know what it is. Sometimes they experience it and they don't know exactly what it is. They're like, oh, glove videos? I'll just make that, no problem. Why don't you talk about fetish mining? Perhaps address some of these things for new creators and for fans who maybe don't know what it is. And then let's jump into the audience questions after that.
Yeah, so absolutely. Fetish mining is when somebody makes a request or asks something with kind of like a cloak of it being something innocent, right? They're like, oh, can you do this? But it's actually to fulfill a fetish. And it's very exploitative in the sense that they prey on unknowing strangers. So for instance, you know, you could say like, oh, there's a very popular one that I recently fell down a rabbit hole of, like, can you do a pocket play video? And you're like, oh, well, pocket play, like that could be like a cool fabric sound, whatever. And like, you fulfill that request. And then you're looking at the comments and like, you see like a man, usually a man, saying like, oh, I love this. I feel like I'm little in your pocket. Like, I feel so like little and cozy. And you're realizing like, okay, that's the giantess fetish. And it's not meant to kink shame, because we're all allowed to have fetishes and it's normal. We can all have our kinks. That's fine. I think where fetish mining becomes inappropriate is that you are literally preying on people and getting off on the idea that they're unknowing participants in your fetish. And with especially, you know, the growth of OnlyFans and Patreon and sex work, you know, there's a gazillion places you can go to have that fetish like fulfilled, but people are getting excitement that they're preying on these individuals that aren't aware that they're like secretly getting off to this type of content. And I don't know if you guys have had any experience. I mean, I fell down a rabbit hole. I found out that one of my most popular videos on my channel that I made like 7 years ago was a fetish. And I had to deal with that. I fell down this rabbit hole like 3 days ago, and I sat there and I was just like, wow, like they'll really get you. They'll really get you. And people will use non-threatening names. They'll have like a profile image of a woman so that their request doesn't seem threatening or like fetishy or anything like that. And it always takes, and I think a good way to kind of gauge whether or not something is a fetish mining request is if you have a moment of second guessing. If you second guess whether or not, or like your intuition is like, that's kind of weird. Don't. It's like, it's better safe than sorry, because I mean, if you want to fulfill those requests, that's totally fine. Like do it. Who cares? But I've talked to a lot of creators that are like, I don't want to participate in something that I wasn't aware of, because you're not consenting to providing that type of content to somebody.
Yeah, I feel that's something, I don't know if it was in other parts of the world community, especially in Mexico, Latin America. Like a couple months ago, it was the jeans scratching videos. I kept seeing them, and I was like, why are these girls scratching or their blouses, but especially jeans? And I got so many requests like, please, can you scratch your jeans on camera or shorts? And I was like, I can take a short and scratch it, but I'm not gonna stand up and scratch myself. I was like, well, that's kind of, I don't want to do it. And then a lot of comparison, like, oh, why don't you do what this other girl does? And it's like, if she feels comfortable, great.
Guilt trip.
But I'm not. And also I have a character, like a persona on my channel that is called La Tia, your aunt, because here it's quite normal to say that you're a tia, that you're an aunt, between friends and whatever. So I started this character out of an aunt that I wish I had, which is like very like, oh my God, yes, I love you, you know, like that. And I am well aware that there's a joke growing that in the north of Mexico, people date between cousins, uncles, aunts, you know, relatives. And they're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm from the north. I feel like I loved you. And they start like asking me like, can our aunt now do this? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep giving you advices because that's the role that I created, like giving you life advice. But I'm not gonna say like, oh my God, I love you so much, you know, like
creepy. Yeah,
I'm not gonna fit that fantasy like that. Or the other one that they ask so much is like a jealous girlfriend. Like, can you pretend that we got into a fight and you don't love? And like, why? Like, no, I don't feel like I don't want to. Or another one I get is like, this one very persistent person was like, oh my God, my aunt, because I tell you, they call me like that. My aunt, I love you so much. Can you please make us a video putting a bracelet on your ankle and showing your feet? And I was like, no. You know, it's like, it's not that kind of space here.
Something that really has helped me, I don't know if you ladies can share this too, but because my channel, and I did this intentionally, because my channel is so focused on one theme pretty much, and I do a lot of different ASMR within that theme, when I get a lot of these, you know, requests similar to the jean scratching, to the bracelet, to the pockets, to the scratch, all of those kind of things, I shut it down in a way of like, you know, like I only do things that are going to take requests that fit the channel, that suit what I do. And that for the most part has helped. Of course, there are offers of like, oh, you know, okay, I'll pay you to do this. And, you know, just trying to shut it down as professionally as you can, I find helps to like kind of slow at least the same people asking the same thing. Of course, there's going to be more people, you know, trying to get this and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I feel we are the content creators. We get to pick what we want to present. And even though we, you know, take the request and we're, you know, like Vivi was saying earlier, it's like, you know, they kind of are on YouTube, you know, fueling what we do. We still, at the end of the day, are the boss, and we get to make the decision of what's going to be appropriate for the masses, you know, and for ourselves. So yeah. Go ahead, Lily. I was done.
I was going to say, like, I did the poll because I wanted to make a video continuing my series of this discussion, because I do think that, like, the way, I mean, that I found to stop it is, like, awareness and education and a conversation about it so that we can all talk about it. And, like, the fact that no one was talking about fetish mining, like, just blew my mind. It was like, this is, like, very apparent within the community. Like, we need to look out for one another. Like, we need to look for the signs, because not everybody has that lens to be able to see, like, or figure out what might be fetish mining. So I made this poll on my channel. I was like, oh, do you guys want to, like, you know, would you guys find this video, you know, beneficial? Because there's so many ASMR channels, especially, like, new ones popping up every day. And, like, just, again, like, wanted to keep the community safe. And I got this one comment. They're like, yeah, you know, I'm really kind of tired about you talking about this. Like, can you go back to, like, whispering and, like, regular lexing? It was kind of like that's great, but, like, do your job. And I was like, you know what? I shouldn't even pull this. Like, I'm doing it anyway. Screw you.
Yeah, it happened when I had this issue 3 years ago. I made a video like, this has to stop. You guys have to stop. Like, this kind of behavior has to stop. And they put it as if I was playing a victim. Like, oh, you're out here doing videos and now you don't like that people are following you and trying to talk to you. Rude. Like, I'm unsubscribing because I'm like, okay, take it as you want, but I really want this to stop. Like, and if your answer is to unsubscribe, do it. Like, I'm gonna
not Barbie dolls.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep talking about what bothers me. And, like, some other girls have done it, and I've realized that they are like, oh, they're starting to believe they are famous or something, and now they don't care about what their followers want to say and what to talk to them. And I'm like, no, we're people. Like, I mean, we're normal people. Like, what are you talking about? Especially especially within ASMR. Like, I understand that some other creators, like, grow big and then they're making advertisements and doing this and that, but it's not really like that here. So, you know, we have feelings, and we just don't feel comfortable sometimes, and we have the right to say it.
So we are running out of time here, but I just want to ask one audience question, which is a three-parter that I combined a bunch of these questions into one. So this is not really one person. So do you think, by the way, that was extremely, I mean, I think the people watching this are going to find a lot of value from this conversation here in general. It's a lot to learn, especially as a creator, because I experienced this with my friends who make ASMR. But here we go. So do you think that sexualized content gets more views than regular content, quote unquote regular? And how do you feel about the ban on some of these Twitch streamers who are part of this ear-licking meta? And lastly, how can we help to make sure that this kind of explicit sexualized ASMR content isn't exposed to young people? I think that's my three-part question.
I'll start off, if you guys don't mind. I mean, I really agree what Lily had to say about sexual content on YouTube. It's with ASMR, like, a lot of people, young and old, are experiencing, like, tingle sensations that maybe they haven't before, and that it's something new. It's a nostalgic feeling. Like, as adults, we can comprehend that. We can, okay, this is kind of sexual, you know, but as someone who's a minor, who's now discovering that for the first time without maybe understanding that, thinking about, like, our stories with ASMR when we first, like, oh, what is this? It's kind of taboo. Like, there's different feelings, you know, and it's kind of like when sex is added to that, it adds a whole different layer. And I feel like it's very important to protect that younger audience who does want to explore ASMR, as we all did when we were younger, except we didn't have this whole media and outlet to be exploring this. So I feel like that's very important. I'm so sorry. I forgot the second and third question.
So the question is, do you think sexualized content gets more views? How do you feel about some of these Twitch streamers and the ear licking meta that sort of was that controversy? And yeah, how do we help young people as well?
So my short answer is no. I mean, yes, sorry. I think that the videos that do have more of a sexual aspect, even if it's not necessarily like meaning to be sexual, I think it does. Just back because of what I said about how many people I've met who associate ASMR with porn. And there's a large, YouTube is free. We get this free content. People think, oh, I can get this free video here and watch this, you know, and tying kind of into the fetish mining, like, oh, maybe they'll do this for me. Like I can actually reach out to these content creators and be able to get this. So I feel like it's kind of unfortunate that it gets so many views because you type in ASMR YouTube and those are the first videos that pop up. And you're trying to show someone, you know, just typing in ASMR and it's like, this is what this is about, you know? So that I feel like that part, it's kind of a bummer, to be honest, not to shame people who do it, because people who do ASMR sexually and are like owning that and are like, hey, this is, you know, what I want to do, like, you know, but I do think that YouTube is not the place for it. And it's unfortunate that there are so many views on those when there's so many other aspects of ASMR that are so niche and unique that I wish that was more brought forward to people just new experiencing ASMR.
And to go off of that as well, you know, I definitely have seen an influx of ASMR erotica on YouTube. I think the reason that it lives and I think that the reason why that content is on YouTube is because it's easier to get discovered on YouTube. You know, OnlyFans doesn't have the SEO, Patreon doesn't have the SEO, it's always hidden, Twitter even. So people are making these videos on YouTube to build up their audience to a greater, and at the risk of minors seeing it, so they can push people onto these other platforms. Which, you know, I get it. I respect the hustle, but at the same time, it's like, that's not what ASMR, like, I don't know. Like I personally, like, I've seen a lot of new creators popping up who have like a ton of views that, like, you know, they're in a bikini and they're licking someone's ears and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know, like I get discouraged because I know that like a lot of the time they are trying to push people to like another platform and they don't even like really want to be on YouTube. I know this one creator who's completely on Patreon and OnlyFans with now sexual ASMR, which is fine. But she like will post these small previews on her YouTube channel that are very sexual to try to push people onto those other platforms as just like a main marketing tactic. Mm-hmm. With regards to the Twitch streamers, which I've heard about that recently. I have this Discord with ASMR creators. I would love to add you guys. We kind of just talk about things and like comments and users that we find in the community that are threatening and like a little bit scary and creepy, to just be able to filter our comments and stay safe because YouTube isn't protecting us. But I feel like, you know, if it's in Twitch's TOS that they don't want terms of service, like if they don't want that type of content and people are making that type of content, then I feel like it just shouldn't be on there. Like it's like, even if the creators are, you know, oh my gosh, you guys can hear the thunder. I'm sorry. It's like storming here. But if people are making that type of content on Twitch and they're getting in trouble when Twitch says you can't make that type of content, it's kind of like, then why did you do it? You know, like you knew what risk you were taking with that. Like there are rules to follow. You can't just do whatever you want all the time, unfortunately. Hopefully that answers that question. And then the last thing about minors is I stumbled across, I'm really happy that it's great that kids are exploring creativity and they're making channels. I personally don't think that kids should be on the internet before the age of 18. That's just me, because I found a video like last week, again, when I was going on this rabbit hole of this like young girl. She was like probably like 8 years old, and somebody requested her to duct tape her mouth like she was being kidnapped, and she didn't have parental supervision. And the comments were like, I felt like I was like like in an SV, like a Law and Order SVU episode. I was like, I cannot believe that this behavior is like happening. And people lie about their age. They're signing into their parents, like, you know, YouTube accounts or whatever, and they're uploading whatever their videos, and they have no parental supervision. And like, obviously YouTube can't do anything about that. But I think that there should be more child labor laws. Like, I just don't really think that a lot of kids should be on YouTube. I think that there should be some more, I mean, like, great, you got rid of comments, but like, I don't know. I think that the internet, just with what I've seen as an adult, with protection and attorneys and like, you know, going a lot, like I feel uncomfortable with the idea of children being on YouTube after seeing what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I also came across some videos of some girl that was like 10 years old creating ASMR with her feet. And I was like, why? But the thing is, she saw it somewhere. Somewhere she saw it and she decided to recreate that because it was,
of course,
suiting for her or whatever. And I was like, who's watching this girl do these videos? And like, why? And again, a child is innocent. They don't really think like, oh, this is turning on a 60-year-old man. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and then again, as you said, kids shouldn't really have that much access to internet, even though they're like parental controls and stuff. They learn how to get away and log into other platforms. So it's kind of like I guess that's maybe some parent responsibility, but also society, because if these kids keep creating this content, sometimes it's because someone else is encouraging them. Like, they see views, they want to be like other YouTubers, they want to be like other creators. And it's like, yes, but try to think about what you're doing. It's going to stay up online forever. Like, you don't know, maybe right now it's very fun, but what's going to happen in the future to your kids, to yourself? Like, I don't know. And well, yeah, I feel like that's why sexual content on ASMR, like regarding ASMR, shouldn't be on YouTube. There are like other platforms for it. Like, I don't care, you're just like making a marketing strategy to get your content from other platforms seen. Like, as a person, you should know what you're doing and held responsible of it. Because again, a lot of people log in that are minors and they might stumble across your content. And I mean, I don't want to say like, oh, you're responsible for them then having a wrong idea of what it is. But you kind of are planting a seed on that brain, like what ASMR.
It's not monitored.
Yes. Like, there are platforms for this type of content. And if you want to create it, go ahead. Just don't try to mix it with something. And again, I feel like some people are hopping on the trend of ASMR. Like, a year ago, there was the ASMR tag. And then you saw tons of creators trying to create ASMR super loud, super sexual, super sexy. And I was like, this is not ASMR. And I'm talking people with millions. And I was like, people are getting the wrong idea of ASMR because of this kind of actions. So as a creator, I feel that you have to be very aware of what you're putting out there for others, because you don't know how is it going to affect the person who's watching you. And then for the first question, if sexualized content gets more views, absolutely yes. Like, as I said, when I started, I was imitating some artists I really enjoyed, but then I had to learn things about them. For example, my Cherry Crush. I enjoy her content so much, but I didn't know I didn't know she was a porn star, which is totally fine. But there was me, Viviana, 20 years old, licking a microphone, and then people from Mexico went crazy, like, oh my God, wow, I can get this content also here. And I was like, wasn't this normal to do an ASMR? You know, it was like, isn't this normal? And then I realized, no, it's not. And, you know, it's like, I don't know. Yes, it gets more views, but at what cost? It shouldn't be like,
is it the right type of views? Like, yes, what kind of views? Like, yeah, it gets more views, but like, exactly at what cost? Like, are they the right type of views?
Exactly.
What and kind I've of had like other creators tell me like, oh, if you do this, you'll probably get more. And if you show this, and I'm just like,
or even the subscribers, like if you hop on this trend, you'll get more views, or you're missing some big money because you're not joining OnlyFans. And I'm like,
Yeah.
or, oh, if you sold me this personalized video, like I would pay so much. I don't know why you don't want to do it. It's like, I just don't feel comfortable. Like, it's not the type of content I want to put out. And sometimes it's not really just me, because I'm a very confident person in my body and myself. If you go to my Instagram, you will see bikini pictures. I don't care. But then I've had serious talks with my parents. They're like, it's cool that you don't care, but we do care. Like, you're our daughter. And I'm like, oh, because, Mexican, very protective kind of family. And yeah, they have very different ideas. I feel like the way I grew up and the content I grew up consuming made me very different. And I'm like, I don't care. These are boobs. You can go and search them online. You can go to a beach. You can see boobs. Why me just posting a selfie like this means I'm a whore? Like, it's not, So yeah, it shouldn't be like that. I feel like sexual content should be more, I forgot the word in English. Like, people should be more aware of who's uploading this kind of content. And I don't know if it's possible to talk to them or YouTube, like how to try to tone it down, or at least make it age restricted, because yeah, it shouldn't be that easy to access to it. It shouldn't be there. And if it's going to be there, then don't make it as easy to find.
Great. So you know what? We're basically out of time. I just wanted to give you a chance if there's anything else you wanted to add to the viewers out there. I think that was really interesting. And I think both creators and fans have a lot to learn there. But yeah, was there anything else any of you wanted to add just on this whole conversation? And if not, then we'll just close out.
I did want to say one little thing. I hope that this panel didn't come across as like us complaining about it, because obviously we all love and I think I can speak for, the other panelists, like we all love our communities. And this is just a very small sliver of YouTube. And it's a very, it's a small but prominent issue that creators deal with on a daily basis that's not oftentimes talked about. So Nathan, thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about it, because
Pleasure.
It's a darker side of YouTube and ASMR content that we don't talk about, because we don't want, it's like taboo, it's weird, it's controversial, like you were saying, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm sitting here like complaining or like anything like that, because again, it's a small sliver, but again, we're people. And so being able to talk freely about this in the forum and educating other people about this matter, I think is really insightful. And I hope that other people understand where we're coming from.
Yeah. And also, if you're a person who has an interest or thinks about creating ASMR, know that this kind of things exist. And you be confident with the content that you create and be comfortable with it. Don't feel like because others are creating this, I should do it. Because this is getting more views, I should do it. No, just stick to what you feel is right, to what your community feels like they like, but don't feel like you owe people to show yourself in that sense. If you like it, go ahead. Maybe YouTube is not the platform for you to do it. Mm-hmm. And again, if you like this content, which I've listened to some, I don't mind it, but it shouldn't be on YouTube. There are other platforms for it. And you should tag it as such, like ASMR erotica. Just don't put it ASMR, maybe. So yeah, stay safe also online, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important, no matter how small or big you are as a content creator, to really think of yourself as a business from the beginning. Because once you have that mindset of, okay, this is who I'm representing myself, this is the content I'm creating, even if you're new, it will help you take some of these matters that we've talked about today to more like technical and not so as scary, because it is stuff that inevitably will happen. My channel is very, you could even call it Disney-esque, and I, try to keep things in a certain way, but even then it's like stuff is always going to happen, and people are always going to be trying to put you into their own box and what you can do for them. So I think it's important to kind of go in that mindset of you're not alone. The ASMR community, the creators are amazing, and it's really easy to reach out for help. And just Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're out of time. I've pushed you way over time as it is. So I just want to say thank you so much for chatting with us today, sharing with the audience and the fans, the creators out there. I think that was extremely interesting. And again, this is just a conversation. So I think I can speak for the other people here, but, it's obviously no judgments. And I think, again, it is one of those things that I don't think we it gets openly discussed as much as it should. So I'm really glad that we could take some time to do that. So again, thank you so much, Vivi Alto, Moongem ASMR, Lily Whispers, and Maria ASMR, who I didn't mention earlier, but had to head out for something, some other engagement. So we appreciate her showing up as well. So thank you all so much, and we hope you have a good one.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.